Blood fever coming at ya.
Subscribe to Papa's YouTube channel.
We're out.
All right, folks, this is lead fever. What you're looking at right here is my Savage Mkii FV in the MDT field stock. Got the Athlon. It's the Argos BTR Gen 2 10-40 by 56 scope on it. It's got the shaft collars on it. In this video, I'm going to show you that I had a bad spot or two on my crown. I took it to my gun shop buddy, my gunsmith buddy, and had him cut a flat 0-degree crown on it. I'm going to roll in a little footage here. I'm going to let you see what the crown looked like before, what the crown looked like afterwards, and we're going to put this thing back together. I'm going to show you how to reassemble this, and I hope that it's informative. I hope it gives you all the basis to be able to work on your own Mark IIs. They're simple to work on. They're good guns if you get a good barrel. So hold on and we'll get this going. And there's the crown. There's a little rough spot right there. It's not perfect. So I could probably do well by taking this to my buddy. There's another spot on the crown. But right there's the bad spot. I think I'm going to take it to him, have him recut the crown. That'll probably make this gun shoot crazy good. Alright, people. What you're looking at right here is this new 0-degree crown. And got the bore scope in there. If you look in the center of the mirror, you can see the outside, very outside edge of the crown. You can see how straight, now there's a little bit of fuzz in there where I pushed a dry patch to it. You can see this crown is sharp. It's sharp, it's square, and it's going to be good accuracy. Now look at the lands and grooves in my bore. Let's pull it back here. See, it's shiny. And if you look around the outside too, look in the middle of the mirror and then look around the outside edges. It's shiny, but it's dull looking at the same time. It's kind of got a dark tint to it. It's not shiny like a mirror. It's just, it's nice and smooth. This is a seasoned barrel. This is what a seasoned barrel should look like. See, there's no chatter marks. There's a little bit of a spot right there where I pushed a patch to it a while ago. And but you can tell there's no chatter marks. That's what a bore should look like. So we'll stop it right there, and I'm going to show you how to put this gun back together. Give me just a few minutes. All right, now that's a shot of the outside of the crown. This crown is flat, straight across. It's not recessed. It doesn't have an 11-degree slope to it. And if I can figure out how to link videos, I will link a video in here that shows you the significance of a 0-degree crown over the 11-degree. There's less error in it, because if there's any run out in the mill, being that this angle is going back on each side and on top, you know, in a circular pattern, then it opens that up and it doesn't keep it even on both sides. But if it's straight across perpendicular, there's no error. So these are supposed to be a lot more accurate, and we're going to find out. So let me get set up here. I'm going to show you how to put this thing back together. I just wanted you to see the crown. And I will put my shaft collars back on there. It still has the heat shrink tubing on it. So give me a minute and we'll put this thing. All right, folks, let me try this. Let me see if I can do this and hold my hands in front of the camera, and I've got to get a boom stand. I want you to look right here's the front action screw stud on this on this receiver. If you look right here, we got a row pin, and here we got a solid pin. These hold the barrel inside of this receiver. It's a slip fit in. It's supposed to be pressed, but it's loose enough you can pull that barrel out. It slips into the receiver, then it gets these pins drilled through the very outside edge of the barrel right here where it slips in. That holds it in the receiver. This one goes through the threads on this action screw stud. Here's another one that looks just like it. it's drilled through the face of those threads and it holds it in there. So you don't want to try to take this off. It takes 1/4-inch Allen wrench. You don't want to try to take that off that pin in there. You got to drive that pin out. That has to come off to go in the lathe to get it chucked up to cut that crown in it. Okay. So when you put these pins back in, you want to make sure that they're centered on either side. Same amount sticking out on each side because there's some recesses in the stock where those set down in there. Let me back out here a little bit. So I'll get my big hands in here. Here's your mag well. It's got a slot up here that fits under this action screw stud. You want to make sure that your spring is in there, and your spring is sandwiched in between this ejector. This is your ejector. And all you do is you slide that under that little claw there. That claw slides in underneath that. And then you take one of your action screw studs and thread through here. Don't ever cross thread them, and just hand tight, not even hand tight. You just want to barely get it threaded in there to get started. Then you grab your trigger assembly. I'm missing a piece here. Let me back up here. It gets this little backing plate that goes over the top, and what that does is that spaces the threads. It spaces the threads to keep it coming all the way through the action and rubbing on the boat. It has to be in there. Almost forgot that. All right. Now that started. You take your trigger assembly and you slide it underneath this ejector where it's bent around there. And then you stick, let me pull this around here a little bit. Get the camera repositioned. Then you thread this little action screw stud. This doesn't hold on to anything in the stock much. It's just to hold the trigger in. You thread that in the back. All right, then you got one more action screw stud that goes right in front of the trigger, and this is the one that holds it in the stock. This one and the one in front of the magazine well. These two are the ones that hold it in the stock. So you put that in there, and you make sure your mag well is centered up in that slot. And you go ahead and you tighten these down by hand as tight as you can get them, all three of them. Then it takes a 1/4-inch Allen wrench. And you don't want to bear down on these real hard. You want them to bottom out. And you just want to snug them up. You don't want to, this metal will strip out pretty easy if you get carried away with it. So there, that's good enough. And then our last one back here. All right. Now, this is as far as we go right here. Now, on the front of this action screw stud here between the mag well, I wedge a couple pieces of cable tie cut off the pointed nose part of them. I push them up in there to hold that down tight against the receiver. But when I took this action screw stud out, I was able to put it back in further. So it's keeping that nice and solid against there. So I don't have to do that now. All right, let me reposition here. We're going to get the stock up here. We're going to put it back in the stock, and we're going to put our scope rail back on. We're going to put our scope on. We're going to put our shaft collars on. Give me just a minute. All right, I want to show you what my stock looks like here. This is where I bedded my stock. And you can see the bedding compound that I used. It's the steel stick, JB Weld steel stick. And it's a putty, 2-part putty. You mix it up and you lay it in here like a Tootsie Roll, and it hardens really quick. So you want to put the release agent on your action. And I put a big wad of it up here. I dam this in. I put a big wad up here. So the first 1.5 inches or so of the barrel, at least an inch. And you can see where the bottom of the barrel is indented at, where it holds that barrel up tight against that action. That's very important. So I'm going to flip this up. I'm going to zoom back out. And we're going to take our action, our barreled action, out of the vise over here. And I'm going to turn it up. And I'm going to feed it down into there. Now, when you bed this, you want to come up from the bottom. While the action's in there, you want to come up through the mag run. You want to scrape this extra putty out before it hardens. You let it get just hard enough. Then you take this out. And then you trim the excess off. And while you got the action in there, everything that's extra out here oozing up the top, you get a sharp popsicle stick. And you scrape that off and get rid of it. All right. There's our action in there. Now we get our action screws. And we want to come up here, stick one in, get it started, and then we come back here behind the trigger guard, and we stick the other one in, and we try to get it started. Probably gonna have to flip this over. All right, we'll flip it over. I got my Allen wrench in there. I'm trying to go in the wrong one, folks. No wonder it's in front of the trigger guard. That one back there is just holds the trigger guard on. That's what I get for trying to do it upside down. Now I just want to snug it. Just want to snug it. And then after I snug it, let me get back in here close. I want to torque it. So I'm going to put my fix-it sticks torque indicator on there. And I'm going to slowly torque these up. I'm initially going to, I want 30 inch-pounds. And this doesn't lock in there, so I'm not using the T-handle. So I'm going to get around here where I can see it. And I want to initially go to about 25. Then I want to go to the front one. I'm going to get 25 on it. Then I want to come back here. I'm going to go to 30. Right between the 25 and the 35. Same thing on the front one. Now, 30 inch-pounds seems to be what this rifle likes. I'm going to flip it back up. All right. Now, let me get in here close. Let's get level. And we're going to put our scope rail on. Now, what I've already done is these holes up here, that hold the scope rail on, I've already taken Q-tips with alcohol and cleaned them. Done the same thing on the scope rail itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this Vibratite thread locker. And I'm just going to put a little bitty dab right there in them threads. And then I'm going to come back over the top of it. And I'm going to wipe the extra off on the top. I just want it in the threads. Now, I'm going to get one of my little screws here. I'm going to get my right Torx bit in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that screw on my Torx bit and hold it with my finger. I'm going to get my scope rail up here. I'm going to put it in that front hole. I'm going to stick it through. I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to hunt for that hole. I'm going to get it started. And just snug it down a little bit. We'll go to the next hole, do the same thing. Just snug them down. Third hole in the back. Then all the way back. All right. Now I'm going to put the torque indicator back on there. I'm going to line it up where I can see it. Let's move the camera up here where we can see. Move in a little bit. Now try to get it to focus. And I only want to take this to about 15 inch-pounds. 15 to 18. Each one of them. $15 to $18. These threads are tiny, and it's not hard to strip them out. Okay. And the last one. All right, now we're torqued down there. Now we want to grab our scope. Let's back out here. And I'm going to set the scope up there. I've got the rings loosened enough where it should slide over. Okay. And I want my scope all the way to the back so I've got good eye relief. And I want to snug him up. I want to make sure I'm seated. Snug one on each one of them. If I can get my shaky hands in there. And I want to tighten them down fairly well. All right, now I'm going to torque those to 20 inch-pounds. I'm going to do it in stages. You don't want to go over tight with these. Okay, now I'm going to finish them off. I'm going to do the back. Go to about 20 inch-pounds. That's all you need for scope rings. All right, we got that. Now, we got one more thing to do here. We're going to come down here. We're going to put our shaft collars back on. I'm going to show you how to do that. I just slide them all on. And then the one on the very end, I let it hang over about a 1/4 inch. And I snug it down. You want an even gap on either side of your shaft collar. So you do it a little at a time. You want to cinch that first one down nice and tight. Then you push the other ones up tight in behind it. And you snug them down. You want to try to get them to touch if you can. You want all the weight towards the front to tame the whip in the barrel. And you want the gap on both sides to be basically the same width. Get them down nice and tight. You don't want to over tighten them or you don't want to strip the threads in the bolt or in the shaft collar. You want them nice and tight so there's no vibration. And this heat shrink tubing helps dampen vibrations too. So now we got that part of it done. Then we just come back here. We take our bolt. We slide our bolt in. Test the trigger. Make sure that it sets the trigger again. Nice light trigger. As a matter of fact, let's see what that trigger is pulling. I don't know if you can see that, but this goes down to 8 ounces, and we pulled about 4 ounces in front of that, 2 to 4 ounces. See, that's 8 ounces, and we pulled before that. We're between 5 and 6 ounces right there. So that's a really good trigger. That's a jarred trigger. So that's what we got there, folks. That's our Savage Mark II FV with a new crown cut in it. And hopefully, if the weather's permitting in the morning, I'm going to get out with it and I'm going to shoot it and see if it's tightened it up any. I had a friend send me some CCI standard velocity from years ago. That's supposed to be a pretty good lot. I got a new lot myself this past week, 2,500 rounds for our test. I'm going to be using this rifle because my Tikka T1X is having ejection issues. It extracts, it's not ejecting. The ejectors get worn, and I can't find one. So I'm going to have to doctor the one up I got, and it's going to take a little bit to get it right. So we're going to be using this rifle. We were using it in the beginning. I went to the Tikka. Everybody's saying, well, use the same rifle. Well, we're testing ammo. We're not really testing the rifle. And if we use the same rifle with the unsorted, the sorted, and the sorted lube, we're going to come up with the right test results. So I hope you've enjoyed this and got something out of it. These Savage Mark IIs are pretty easy to work on. I want to do a video where I've got a stock trigger, and I'm going to show you how to work these triggers over and make them really nice. This jarred trigger is nice, but I can get a stock trigger down to about 8 ounces and very crisp. No take up, very little take up. It's a nice trigger when you do it right. So this is Lead Fever. I hope this was informative for all of you. God bless all of you. Be blessed in the name of Jesus. We will get this thing out in the morning. We will shoot it, and we will see if it has improved its grouping any by cutting that new crown. And I just hope that all of you will enjoy this and get something out of it to where you can perform this work on your own guns. This is Lead Fever. We're out.